Coming up this week on The Week in Business, BlackPace Group and Ardova PLC holds official presentation of BlackPace Ardova 100% electric vehicle and fast charger at the Alliance Francaise Mike Adenuga Center, Ikoyi, Lagos. Nigerian Exchange Group holds NGX Made of Africa Awards cocktail and closing gong ceremony at the Nigerian Exchange Group House, Marina, Lagos. Compliments of the season and welcome to this week's edition of The Week in Business, where we share with you some of the major events in the world of business in Nigeria in the past week. I am Taiwo Akinawa. It's good to have you join us on the program today. The prospects for Nigeria's transition to clean energy in the transportation sector received a boost with the official presentation of the BlackPace Group at Ardova PLC 100% electric vehicle and fast charger. The event, which held at the Alliance Francaise Mike Adenuga Center, Ikoyi, Lagos, brought together stakeholders across various sectors that are critical to transportation and energy in the country. It also featured a panel session that discussed the sustainable development of the electric vehicle infrastructure and economy. Take a look.
That the entire world is transitioning, and the impact of energy transition might mean that fossil fuels would even get more expensive. Some of the conversations you would have at COP are challenges for countries like Nigeria, where we're saying we can't get capital to develop our resources because of this energy transition. And as the capital gets more scarce, the effective cost of the fossil fuel would also go up. So effectively, this is just going to continue to escalate. So there's several reasons, but the most basic is Naira and Kobo, the cost of ownership of an EV is cheaper than that of.
In terms of the EV industry, there's a plethora of potential business opportunities. If you want to break it down into the vehicle itself, the software components, the external objects that it uses, such as your charging stations, you can come up with a few roles. I'll break a few down for you. Some of them would be fleet operations. So that's your services, emergency services, delivery services, and the likes. Then you can move on to, having your batteries recycled as a business case as well for potential entrepreneurs, utilizing the raw materials that are used to create these batteries for other purposes, thereby not putting them back into the environment to then become even more harmful substances. You have things like EV leasing as well, where you can then reduce the hesitancy of people then wanting to move into EVs by providing a payment plan that they can move with that's easily adoptable, as opposed to paying whole price for these cars. In terms of your software development, you have your training and skills, which can build in your manufacturing plants for maintenance as well, all the way down to EV blogs for social media, because people don't know how EVs work. And that's another business case to start. So across the field, there's numerous potential with electric vehicles in the ecosystem. And I think it's ripe to be tapped.
Martins, let's talk about the economy. I mean, with, every new concept, we hope to see, some economic indices move positively, sometimes not so positively. So what do you think will happen with the introduction of EV vehicles into Nigeria? How will that affect the economy and the macroeconomic landscape?
But I think we need to focus a bit more long-term rather than short-term. Even though when you speak to people, I think the first thing you will get is people are probably afraid and say Nigeria is a fossil fuel economy. Everything around Nigeria's economy is driven by oil and gas. So when prices drop, we feel the effect in every sector of the Nigerian economy. So people will typically be a bit skeptical when you talk about EVs and the impact it may have. But all I see from where I sit is positives, no negative at all. I'll give you an example. There's been significant talk around Nigeria's lithium nickel deposits, but we've never been able to get anybody significant anyway come make any significant investment in that sector. The fear has always been whether our reserves have been overestimated. But you would never know. I studied petroleum engineering for my first degree, and one of the first things we were told is that the only way you can determine, no matter the level of seismic study you do, the only way you can determine how much reserves you have on the ground is when you dig. So every other thing you do on the surface gives you, at the best, an idea. You need to go down to be able to determine how much reserves you have. But I need to get a bit of comfort before I even make the investment to then go down. Now, if you have a blossoming EV market in Nigeria, I think it already creates the incentive for someone to then begin to look at the investments in, first of all, determining what our real reserves numbers are for
Reserves of lithium.
Okay. Yeah, and nickel. And then trying to make that investment. Now, all of a sudden, what that does for us is that it creates another venue for foreign exchange, not only for the raw materials itself, but also of the finished vehicles.
Policy by government, that is very important. Interaction between government and players in the industry, could accelerate this, in a much faster and better, pace. And I think, the conversation must continue with government. So that's why we have to engage them, more frequently for them to see the benefit and the economic, impact, it will have on the society. And of course, what government can also, have as a form of leverage on the global community, as we all talk about carbon, savings, carbon credit, and all that has to do with the carbon emission, the CO2.
It was indeed an afternoon of celebration at the NGX Made of Africa Awards cocktail and closing Gong ceremony, which held at the Nigerian Exchange Group House, Marina, Lagos. The event saw a gathering of key capital market stakeholders and leaders spotlighting outstanding companies and individuals within the capital market ecosystem that demonstrate exceptional performance in value delivery and sustainable impact and act as key drivers in strengthening the Nigerian and African capital markets. Enjoy.
We are going to be recognizing many people across different parts of our market, our issuers, our brokers, our advisors, the people who support us from the legal standpoint, everybody that makes our market what it is. For those who will be called today and recognized, I say congratulations. For those who didn't get that far, again, our market won't be what it is without you.
Trading license holders rules of the NGX, and that is what this award category is. And the winner is Pilot Securities Limited, the most compliant license holder of the NGX. Another round of applause for him, please. Thank you very much. And this award goes to the fund manager with the largest cumulative size of new funds, exchange-traded funds, or ETFs that are listed on the exchange and managed by the same manager of the fund for this year. And this award, this category goes to Chapel Hill, Denham. And now you can see why Chapel Hill sends the size, so they sent the right size to get the award on behalf of this very innovative and very excellent part of the market. Thank you very much for Chapel Hill for being that company. This category goes to the trading license holder with the highest value of trades in exchange traded products. And that's for the period under review this year. And the winner is for this category vertebral capital management.
Awards that we've celebrated today, it builds on what I call a tradition and a legacy at the exchange, spanning several years, where we recognize what I would say everyone, every institution that makes our market what it is. So whether those are transactions we've had during the course of the year, or they are the advisors that we have in our capital markets, or they are lawyers, or they are solicitors, or sometimes actually even some of the government agencies that support the capital market. It's a day to just recognize and acknowledge all of those contributions. It's also a day and an opportunity to reflect on the year. 2023, I think by many measures, has been a successful year. In 2023, the market performance has built on the performance over the last 3 years. If you include this year's performance, in the last 4 years, we've had very strong positive performances by the markets. This year also, you would see it was a year that we're able to support some of the agenda of the new administration in Nigeria, where we're trying to demonstrate that the capital markets remain a mechanism and a platform to address many of the teething problems and challenges that the government faces. And I think this year we're able to move the needle on that. The other thing I would mention about this year was just, back to us as a company. We are, of course, now for profit, the ability to manage and combine market development, market growth with, shareholder value, shareholder returns. Also, we think we balanced that quite well this year. So that's what the awards were about. You asked about what 2024 is like. People expect transactions to come back. I share that view. I think that 2024 will be a year about execution. It would be a year to further demonstrate many of these points that I've made. It will be a year to build on some of the progress we've made. I look at a sector like power. We listed Geregu on the exchange, the first generation power company. I expect that theme to deepen in 2024. I expect many of our financial service institutions, many of our banks to find the exchange and the capital markets as a basis and a good platform to raise capital, to interact more with, capital formation. And then I expect 2024 to be a year also where we build on deeper partnerships. These will be partnerships particularly around digital transformation. You would see that we have partnered with some strong telecom brands over the course of the year. We would be looking to do a lot more of that so that this conversation about capital markets getting closer to investors, capital markets on the phone, just like we have in other financial services, sectors. We hope to move the needle on that in 2024.
And that's it on today's episode of The Week in Business. Thank you very much for watching. For more business, finance, and economy content, follow us on all our social media platforms at WebTVNigeria and visit our website, www.poshare.co. Thank you once again for watching. I am Taiwo Akinawo. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a fantastic Christmas season and celebration and a most joyous week ahead.